Your car's air conditioning was ice cold last summer. Now it barely cools and you're sweating on every drive. Mechanics are quoting you $1,200 for a compressor replacement. But here's what they're not telling you. Most air conditioning problems have nothing to do with the compressor. They're simple issues you can diagnose and fix yourself in under an hour for less than $50. I'm about to walk you through the exact diagnostic method mechanics use. 5 fixes ranked by their impact and cost. 1 advanced hack professionals keep hidden, and the warning signs that tell you when you actually do need professional help. Hit that subscribe button right now because this video is going to save you hundreds of dollars. Let's jump in. Before you throw any money at your air conditioning, you need to identify what's actually wrong. Most people skip this step completely and end up wasting cash on the wrong fix. I'm going to teach you the 5-step diagnostic framework that professionals use to pinpoint air conditioning problems in minutes. Let's start with step 1, the basic test. Start your car and set the air conditioning to the coldest setting with the fan on maximum. Wait 30 seconds. Then feel the air coming out of your dashboard vents. Is it actually cool or is it just lukewarm? This simple test confirms whether your air conditioning system is functioning at all. If you're getting 0 cold air, your problem is either electrical or refrigerant related. If you're getting some cooling but not enough, keep going through the diagnostic steps. Step 2 is the condenser check. Pop your hood and look at the condenser, which is the aluminum fins right behind your front grille. Can you see through it clearly or is it caked with bugs, dirt, and debris? A clogged condenser is the #1 reason air conditioning systems blow warm air. When that condenser can't breathe, your entire system suffocates. The good news is this is also the easiest fix we're going to cover today. Step 3, check your cabin air filter. Open your glove box and look behind it where you'll find your cabin air filter in a rectangular housing. Pull it out and look at the color. Is it white or light gray? That's good. Is it black or dark gray? You've found your problem. A dirty cabin air filter chokes your air conditioning and forces the system to work twice as hard just to push air through those vents. Replace it and your cooling power jumps immediately. Step 4 is the refrigerant test. Grab a can of refrigerant with a pressure gauge attached. Find the low pressure port on your air conditioning system. It's on the larger hose near the compressor, usually covered with a blue dust cap. Attach the gauge and check the reading. If the pressure reads below 25 psi, your freon is low. This is what mechanics charge $300 to fix, but a do-it-yourself kit costs $40. We'll handle this in fix number 3. Step 5, pay attention to the visual symptom patterns. Does your air conditioning blow cold for 5 minutes then warm up? That's a compressor cycling issue. Is the air cool but not ice cold? Could be a blend door problem. Does the air conditioning work sometimes, but not always? You have an electrical connection issue. Does it blow ice cold up front, but the back seats stay hot? You're not using recirculation mode correctly. Is there a musty smell along with weak cooling? You've got mold in your air inlet or cabin filter. Use this framework to identify which fix applies to your specific car. Don't just guess and hope for the best. Diagnose first, then fix. That's how professionals approach every air conditioning problem. Now let's get into the 5 strategic fixes, starting with the one that has the highest impact. Fix number 1 is cleaning the condenser. This takes 30 to 45 minutes and costs you anywhere from $0 to $20, depending on what tools you already own. If your condenser is clogged with bugs and dirt, which our diagnostic already confirmed, you just found your problem. Understanding how your air conditioning actually works makes this fix make sense. Your air conditioning system removes heat from the air inside your cabin. The condenser is the hot zone, where heated refrigerant from the compressor gets cooled down before cycling back through the system. When dirt, bugs, and debris block those aluminum fins, heat can't escape. The refrigerant stays hot and your cabin stays hot. It's really that simple. Here's how to fix it properly. Let your car cool down for 10 minutes after driving because you don't want to touch a hot condenser. Grab a garden hose or pressure washer and set it to medium pressure. Don't use high pressure or you'll damage those delicate aluminum fins. Spray from the back of the condenser toward the front, which is the same direction as your normal airflow. For stubborn bugs and debris, use a soft brush or even an old toothbrush to gently loosen everything while you're spraying. Let the condenser dry completely before starting your car again, then test your air conditioning. If you already own a garden hose, this costs you $0, maybe $3 if you need to buy a brush. The time investment is 30 to 45 minutes. Mechanics charge $150 to $200 for this exact same service. After cleaning your condenser thoroughly, you should notice cooler air immediately. This single fix solves the problem for most people. However, if your air conditioning still blows warm after a complete condenser cleaning, don't worry. We have 4 more fixes to try. Fix number 2 is replacing the cabin air filter. This is the sneakiest reason your air conditioning doesn't cool properly because the system isn't broken, it's just suffocating. This fix takes 5 minutes and costs $15 to $25. Your cabin air filter protects you from breathing dust, pollen, and smog while you drive. When it gets clogged, which happens every 12,000 to 15,000 miles, it blocks airflow through your vents. Your air conditioning has to work 2 to 3 times harder just to push air through that dirty filter. Less airflow automatically means less cooling, and most people never even check this filter during the life of their car. Here's the replacement process, and it's incredibly simple. Open your glove box and look for the cabin air filter housing, which is usually a rectangular box right behind the glove box itself. If you're not sure where it is, check your owner's manual for the exact location. Push the release tabs or unscrew the clips that hold it in place, then slide out the old filter. If that filter is gray or black instead of white, you just found your problem. Slide in the new filter, making sure the airflow arrows point toward the cabin and not out toward the engine. Close everything up and you're done. Total time is 5 minutes, and you don't need any tools. A replacement cabin air filter costs $15 to $25 depending on your car model. You can find them on Amazon, AutoZone, or O'Reilly Auto Parts. Mechanics charge $40 to $60 for 10 minutes of work doing the exact same thing. After replacing your cabin air filter, airflow increases dramatically. You'll notice stronger air pressure coming from your vents, cooler temperatures throughout the cabin, and better interior air quality overall. That musty smell disappears too. Fix number 3 is topping up your refrigerant, which is where mechanics really make their money. If your Freon is low, they'll recommend a full air conditioning service for $300. You can handle this yourself for $40. This fix takes about 15 minutes and has a critical impact on your cooling performance. Refrigerant, which mechanics also call Freon, is the lifeblood of your air conditioning system. It circulates through the compressor, condenser, and evaporator to remove heat from your cabin. In a perfectly sealed system, you would never need to add Freon, but no system stays perfectly sealed forever. Over time, tiny leaks develop in the hoses and connections. Freon slowly escapes and your air conditioning gradually loses cooling power. Here's the mechanic's secret they don't advertise. If you have a slow leak, which accounts for 95% of all cases, you can simply top up the Freon without doing a full system overhaul. You don't need to replace every component in the system. Here's what you need to buy. Get an air conditioning refrigerant recharge kit with R134A refrigerant, not R1234YF. The kit should include a pressure gauge, which most do. Also grab a pair of safety glasses before you start. Now for the process itself, start your car and turn the air conditioning to full blast with maximum fan speed. Pop your hood and locate the low pressure port on your air conditioning system. It's on the larger hose near the firewall and it's usually covered with a blue dust cap. Remove that dust cap and screw the pressure gauge from your kit onto the port. Check what the pressure reads. It should be somewhere between 25 and 45 psi when the air conditioning is running. If the gauge shows anything below 25 psi, you're low on Freon and need to add some. Follow the instructions on your recharge kit, which usually involves triggering the can to release refrigerant into your system. Recheck the pressure after adding Freon and stop when you hit 35 to 40 psi. Remove the gauge, replace the dust cap, and test your air conditioning. It should blow significantly colder now. Here's an important safety note before you do this. R134A is the standard refrigerant for most cars built after 1994. Don't use R1234YF unless you have a newer car specifically designed for it, because it's not compatible with older systems and costs 20 times more. Always wear gloves and safety glasses when handling refrigerant. It's cold enough to cause frostbite on contact. This isn't dangerous work, but it demands basic respect and safety precautions. The cost breakdown is simple. A do-it-yourself refrigerant recharge kit runs $35 to $50 total. Mechanics charge $300 to $400 for the identical job. Your time investment is 15 minutes. After topping up your refrigerant properly, most people report their air conditioning cooling power returns to like new condition. You go from lukewarm air to ice cold in one afternoon. This is honestly the fix that most people with air conditioning problems actually need. Fix number 4 is using the recirculation button correctly, which is completely free and gives you instant results. This is the button on your dashboard that most drivers don't understand, and it's the reason why some people's air conditioning cools so much faster than others. Your air conditioning has 2 different modes. There's fresh air mode and recirculation mode. In fresh air mode, your air conditioning pulls hot air from outside your car and tries to cool it down from scratch. In recirculation mode, your air conditioning pulls the already cooled air from inside your cabin and cools it even further. On extremely hot days, recirculation mode cools your car 2 to 3 times faster than fresh air mode. Why does this work so well? Because the air inside your cabin is already cooler than the 110-degree air sitting outside in the sun. Your air conditioning barely has to work to cool down that interior air. There is one catch though. Recirculation mode doesn't cool your back seats as effectively because it primarily pulls air from the front of the cabin. Use this mode strategically based on your situation. Here's exactly how to use it. Look for the recirculation button on your air conditioning control panel. It usually shows a car icon with an arrow pointing inside the car. On a hot day, press that button until the light comes on indicating recirculation mode is active. Set your air conditioning to the coldest setting and your fan to maximum speed. Your car will cool down 40% faster than it would in fresh air mode. After your cabin reaches your desired temperature, which usually takes 5 to 10 minutes, press that button again to switch back to fresh air mode. This prevents condensation from building up inside your car over time. Fun fact, many drivers actually mistake this button for an undo button or a U-turn button on their GPS. It's genuinely the most misunderstood button on your entire dashboard. The cost for this fix is free because this feature is already built into your car. Your air conditioning cools noticeably faster. Plus, you'll use up to 10% less fuel because your air conditioning doesn't have to work as hard. Your battery even lasts longer from reduced strain on the compressor. Fix number 5 is parking smart and using sunshades, which costs $8 to $50 and serves as long-term prevention. This method gets overlooked constantly, but it's incredibly powerful for protecting your air conditioning system. When you park your car in direct sunlight, the interior temperature reaches 118 degrees in just 40 minutes. Your air conditioning then has to work double time to cool everything down, which puts enormous stress on every single component. Think about it this way. If your cabin is already 118 degrees when you start the car, your air conditioning has to remove 40 to 50 degrees worth of heat just to reach a comfortable temperature. On scorching hot days, air conditioning systems use 20% more fuel than they would normally. This extra stress wears out your compressor faster and shortens its lifespan by several years. Prevention is genuinely the best strategy here. Let's talk about parking location first. Always park in the shade whenever possible. Look for trees, parking garages, or covered spots. After 1 hour in direct sunlight, your cabin temperature reaches 100 degrees. After 1 hour in shade, your cabin temperature only reaches 70 degrees. That's a 30-degree difference that your air conditioning system has to make up. Now let's add a sunshade into the equation. Get a windshield sunshade from Walmart or Amazon. They cost anywhere from $8 to $20. Place it behind your windshield before you leave your car parked. With a sunshade in place, your cabin temperature only reaches 80 to 85 degrees after 1 hour in the sun. That's a 30 to 35 degree improvement compared to having no shade at all. When you combine parking in the shade with using a sunshade, your car stays under 70 degrees even on hot days. The cost is $8 from Walmart for a basic sunshade or $15 to $50 for a premium version. This is a one-time purchase that lasts for years. The benefits stack up quickly. Your air conditioning starts from a much lower baseline temperature. It cools your car faster every single time. Your compressor experiences significantly less stress. The result is a longer air conditioning system lifespan, better cooling performance throughout the year, 20% less fuel consumption on hot days, and peace of mind knowing your expensive compressor will last 5+ more years without failing. Now I want to show you an advanced technique that most YouTube mechanics won't share because it requires some technical knowledge. This is the blend door adjustment hack. Your car has something called a blend door hidden inside your dashboard. It's basically a valve that mixes hot air and cold air together to regulate your cabin temperature precisely. Sometimes this door gets stuck in the wrong position, or it doesn't close properly when you want cold air. The result is your air conditioning blows cool, but not ice cold like it should. Here's what mechanics typically do. They charge you $300 just to diagnose this issue, then another $500 to repair it. But there's a free mechanical reset you can try first that works about 60% of the time. Set your air conditioning to the coldest setting and make sure your heat is completely off. Listen carefully, and you should hear a clicking sound coming from somewhere behind your dashboard vents as the blend door adjusts its position. If you don't hear any clicking at all, the door is either stuck or the motor that controls it is broken. Here's how to unstick it safely without tools. Turn your air conditioning on to full blast. Now hit your heat control and set it to maximum. Switch back and forth between full cold and full hot 5 to 10 times rapidly. What you're doing is cycling the blend door back and forth mechanically, which often loosens it up if it was just stuck in one position. Test your air conditioning again after doing this reset. For a stuck but functioning door, this mechanical reset works more often than you'd think. If it doesn't solve the problem, the blend door motor itself likely needs replacement, and that's when you should call a professional. The cost at a shop runs $200 to $300 for the motor replacement. But for a simple stuck door, this free reset technique often gets you back to ice cold air. Why don't mechanics tell you about this trick? Because if you fix it yourself, you save hundreds of dollars. They would obviously prefer you pay them for the diagnosis and repair instead. Before we wrap up, I need to give you 2 critical warnings that could save you from expensive mistakes down the road. Warning number 1 is about refrigerant leaks. I mentioned earlier that topping up Freon works great for slow leaks. But if you find yourself needing to add Freon every single month, you have a fast leak, and that means something is actually broken. Could be a loose fitting, a damaged hose, or even a cracked condenser. If you ignore a fast leak, here's what happens. Your compressor will eventually fail completely, and that's a $1,200 repair. Your engine could overheat because the compressor keeps running, constantly trying to compensate. You'll end up paying $100 every month just for refrigerant refills that leak right back out. The solution is to get it diagnosed by a professional. Yes, diagnosis might cost you $150 to $200, but that diagnosis saves you over $1,000 in future repairs. That's called preventative maintenance, and it's worth every penny. Warning number 2 is about turning off your air conditioning for extended periods. In winter, some drivers stop using their air conditioning completely because they don't think they need it. This is a huge mistake. When your air conditioning sits idle for weeks or months at a time, the seals dry out and crack. Freon sits stagnant inside the lines and starts to separate. The compressor can even corrode internally from lack of use. When you finally turn your air conditioning back on next summer, something might break from all that idle time. The solution is incredibly simple. Use your air conditioning for at least 5 minutes every single week, even in the middle of winter. This keeps the system circulating properly, keeps the seals lubricated with refrigerant, and makes sure everything is ready to go when summer heat arrives. So there you have it, 5 fixes that cost under $100 total and take just a few hours of your time. Most of them take only minutes to complete. Compare that to a mechanic's $1,200 compressor replacement quote, and you're looking at real money staying in your pocket where it belongs. Here's what I want you to do right now. First, go back through that diagnostic framework I showed you at the beginning of this video. Figure out which of these 5 fixes actually applies to your specific car. Don't just guess and hope for the best. Diagnose the problem first, then apply the correct fix. Second, if you need to buy any supplies for these repairs, check the description below this video. I've linked to the exact products I recommend, including cabin filters, refrigerant kits, pressure gauges, and sunshades. Everything you need is right there. Third, come back after you try one of these fixes and let me know in the comments section which fix you tried and whether it worked for you. I personally read every single comment, and I'll help you troubleshoot if something goes wrong or if you run into any issues. If you found this video helpful and you want to save thousands of dollars in mechanic bills over the life of your car, hit that subscribe button right now. We post new car maintenance videos every single week covering everything from air conditioning fixes to transmission fluid changes to diagnosing why your check engine light is on. You'll learn how to fix things yourself and keep more money in your wallet. One final thing before you go, if you've been dealing with poor fuel economy or a check engine light that won't go away, your oxygen sensor might be the culprit. The video appearing on your screen right now shows you exactly how to clean your oxygen sensor yourself and save another few $100s in mechanic costs. Thanks for watching this video. Now get out there and fix that air conditioning. Your wallet will definitely thank you.